Hello everybody, Robin here at Toadstool Tarot, and today I have the Caitlin Matthews Enchanted Lenormand Oracle, illustrated by Virginia Lee and published by Watkins. It comes in a really nice, sturdy storage box, which doesn't all fit on my camera, but it's smaller than the usual storage box. This deck actually, I love this. The coloring and the atmosphere of this deck would pair really well with another tarot and an oracle deck that I'm going to show you here. The Forest of Enchantment Tarot and the Forest Fae Oracle deck. I've done a walkthrough of this. This is a dinky little magnetic box oracle deck featuring characters of the Forest Fae. Beautiful earthy green foresty colors. And then I've also done, some time ago, a walkthrough of the Forest of Enchantment Tarot, also in a magnetic box with a big full-color booklet. And beautiful cards. This one's from Llewellyn. And we have this one today, the Enchanted Lenormand Oracle. If you're working with Lenormand, Tarot, and Oracle, you couldn't find a better trio that's more compatible to work together. Now, I really like the design on this box and on these cards. It's interesting. They are all framed in this sort of diamond-shaped woodland vine layout. And if you notice, the four corners, these symbols correspond to the elements. Here we have what would be diamonds in the regular playing card set, or that would correspond to earth or pentacles. Then we have over here what looks like a sharpened flint arrowhead, which would correspond to swords or spades. Then down here we have a clover, which would correspond to clubs or wands. And then here we have hearts, which would correspond to cups or hearts. You have here a little ribbon pull. It's with a slide-out drawer. And whenever I see these kind of boxes, there always seems to be something off. The corner on mine here was a little dinged, worn. And under the book where the cards are, there's a little cardboard inset that holds your cards. And I have yet to see one of these that's perfectly well constructed. This one's a little clumsy, a little awkward. It's not torn, but it's a little dinged up, it looks like. The cards sit in here, but as I'm finding with most of these kind of decks, the cards actually rise above the pocket. So once you remove this band, if you're storing them in here, they're going to slide around a little bit. The top few cards are not going to stay in that ditch, even with the booklet covering it. The back of the box, plain back. Oh, that was inside, sorry. Outside the sleeve, there is some information on the back with some card depictions. The book is fantastic. I love this size book. It's, do I have a ruler handy? Probably not. Oh, here we go. This book is 4.5 by 6.5, which is a nice size book. It's smaller than the Llewellyn books. And I really would love to find a Lenormand book in a pocket size. So this is lovely. It's not quite as small as I really would like something like came with the Celtic Lenormand. And this is actually a really nice pocket size book. However, I noticed the lamination on this is starting to peel. And that is one of my issues with this deck. The cards are very glossy and highly laminated, and while the lamination is not peeling off yet, the edges feel like that could very well happen at some point with wear and tear on the cards. But anyway, let's have a quick look at the book. It's a really nice book, and it's 160 pages. It's got full color images of the cards, various layouts, comprehensive information about the meanings, card pairing, storyline, narrative, Lenormand language, approaching the cards, a little bit of history. Each page has, there's 2 pages for each card. You've got the name of the card and the number, the corresponding playing card. You've got a description of sort of summing up what the card imagery or symbol is all about. And then you've got the impact of the card, the key words representing the card, people if you're using this to represent a person, love if the, or sorry, not represent a person, if you're doing a reading about people, love, work, finance and business, well-being, so different meanings for different kinds of readings. And some selected combinations of the card with other cards. So this is all really good and very well written by Caitlin Matthews. A very friendly read, an easy read, not like a textbook or anything. There's some spreads in here. Talks about the Grand Tableau, which they refer to as the big picture. And I think somewhere in the back there's an easy reference, if I can find it. No, of course I can't find it. Is it in the very back? There's like a quick reference to, oh here, meanings at a glance. There you go. So even if you don't want to use the whole book, you can just go by the number, the name of the card, and you've got some keywords for each card. So that's quick and easy. I think it's a really good little book. Now we have the cards there in a little paper sleeve, which I had already removed once and slipped back on here. Now I can't get it off. There we go. These are the backs of the cards. Not my favorite card design on the back. Here you can see a little bit of wear on the edge already, like that lamination might be gonna peel off. But so you got 4 playing cards. You've got what looks like a crystal ball in the center and the 4 elemental symbols. I love that these cards, originally I thought, oh, these are, crystal balls. And then looking at the woodland scenes, I thought, well, maybe they're not crystal balls. Maybe that's like a scrying pool of water. But I looked in the booklet and she refers to them as a crystal ball. So my first intuition or inclination was correct. Let's just look at some of the cards. So we have the rider. And I love these depict a sort of a colonial era imagery, which goes very well with the Forest of Enchantment and the Forest Fae Oracle. Great foresty sort of colors, woodland colors, clover here. You have to, these do not have the names of the cards written on them. They do have the corresponding number, but you'll quickly learn those, and they are fairly readily recognizable. The ship, the house, a lovely little thatched cottage. I would love to live in a house like this. And I love this sort of like moody atmosphere in this image. And these are painted images. They're not computer graphics. They do look more, not pixelated, but more texturized than would appear probably in the camera. Close up under bright light, the painted images have almost kind of brushstroke texture to them. Here we have the tree. There's a face in the tree. Here we have the cloud, and I love the cloud because we have here a sort of a happy side of the cloud, and then an underside. There's a face on this side that's sort of the dark side of the cloud. Snake. Coffin. Bouquet. The scythe. And the scythe here is in a field of wheat, and you get this whirling motion of the scythe cutting down the wheat. Broom, usually or often you have either the broom or the whip. We don't have the whip in this deck. There are a couple of changes. They use the broom instead. And I kind of like that, actually. And it's a typical sort of witch's broom, which also is very in keeping with the colonial era. Also, I think it's sort of interesting. The shadow almost looks like a woman's silhouette behind the broom, which I find intriguing. Here we have the birds. The child. Fox. And it looks like a sort of a shadow fox figure in white down here. The bear. The stars. We have a constellation forming an angelic or human figure, cosmic figure. Stork. These are very much like vignettes into a fairy tale or something. The dog. And a lot of them have a very serious quality to them, bordering melancholy, which I love. We have the tower. The garden. The mountain. Oh, interesting. Man of the mountain. I just noticed a face of an old man here and like hands on the knees of this mountain. Interesting. The path or paths. the mice, the heart, the ring with a purple stone in it. I'm guessing it's amethyst. I sort of like that. This seems very much in keeping with the crystal ball and divination. The book. The letter. These make me think of a fairy tale, these images. Mystery in the woods. Here we have the man, and we have an alternate choice for the man, as we do for the women. However, I have some reservations about this. It's nice that there's a choice. We have a white man and a black man. You've got that choice. However, while there was sensitivity with regard to race, perhaps in these two choices, could have been more, we don't have the same sensitivity to same-gendered couples. So you could use these for two men who are in a couple, but they're not facing each other as you usually have in the regular pairing of the man-woman card. So that might be a little bit difficult. We have the woman. So yeah, I mean, nice to have those, but that seems sort of like a little bit of an oversight. Not sure how that would work in a reading of Lenormand with a same-sex couple. I'm still pretty new to Lenormand, so still learning. These are the lilies, the sun, the moon, the key, the fish. These are nice thick cards, by the way. I usually have a spread cloth and I don't, and these are a little bit easier to pick up because they're thicker. The anchor, and instead of the cross as our final card, she's given us the crossing, which I wasn't sure about at first because my understanding of the cross is it's sort of like a burden or my cross to bear kind of a thing. But here we have the crossing is a sort of a passage over a chasm, so I suppose it's still a certain kind of a hardship to endure. Just need to think about it in a different way. But I actually like this bridge crossing in preference to the sort of Christian cross that we're usually given in a deck. Then we have a Significator card that is supposed to depict Madame or Mademoiselle Lenormand. And not sure what to do with that. It's numbered 37. I don't usually use significators. And you have the men and women in this deck that you can use. So I very much like the artwork in these cards. You can also see when you lay them out that they form a nice kind of lattice work where with these foresty diamonds of vines. So, yeah. Some might find these too busy to look at, but I think that the focus is right there in those circles, so I don't think I'm going to have any trouble with them. The trouble for me will be finding enough real estate in my apartment to lay out a grand tableau. These are smallish cards, but they're not minis. I think they're smaller than bridge size cards, but I'm not sure. Let me compare to my own Lenormand deck. Little Norman's Little Lenormand. Oh, they're bridge size. No, they're just a tad smaller. So I think that about covers it. I think the only thing that I have issue with was the quality of the cardstock. It's thicker. I overhand shuffle, which will be okay. Not sure about riffle shuffling. And I am a little worried about the lamination on this gloss and how it's going to wear over time, or whether it's going to start peeling and separating from the cards. I would prefer these had been linen or you know, regular cardstock. But there is something to be said about how stiff the cards are for laying about and moving them around on a surface. So there you have it. That's the Enchanted Lenormand Oracle from Caitlin Matthews by Watkin Publishing, in this beautiful little slipcase box. And again, as I said, this would be a great pairing for a Lenormand Tarot Oracle trio to work together. See you next time. Bye.